The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. Hours at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the rant, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 200 of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwoods. I am the host of this lovely show. But joining with me, as always, is the man that's been here for all 200 episodes. I came on in, kind of the tail end a little bit. I was brought on. But the man who's here since day one, the man who helped get this show off the ground. I am joined by my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how you doing?
Dude, so I missed one episode, one recorded episode. And I got COVID the first time. COVID, no vaccine.
That's right, yeah.
Flat out COVID, literally almost hospitalized COVID, and I missed the show. And y'all took care of me. You and Jeremy, I believe, did the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was awesome. And yeah, that's been the show I missed. 200. Amazing. I am fortunate. I am fortunate to say we are the longest consecutively running AEW podcast. I think we might have had a few week breaks in there, but there was never a long hiatus from doing the show. I think the most might have been 3 weeks. And, and there's been a lot of shows that have come and gone. Really good shows. And, there's some shows out there that I would have said, if you'd asked me, they were better than ours. Because we did take on, from very beginning, being the proclivity for positivity. We're not a super highly critical show. That's not who we are. We're going to focus on what we like. I'm not saying I don't ever dislike anything. I'm not saying Austin doesn't ever dislike anything. But we've always taken on the idea that we're going to focus on what we don't like, and we may even focus on what we do like, and maybe even skip over what we don't like, because to me, that's what the focus of wrestling should be. It should be what makes you happy, what makes you feel, it makes you do all the things in wrestling. And whatever reason you watch it, if it's the in-ring action as far as the performance art of it, if it's the soap opera part of it on the outside of the ring, whether it's the promos, whether it's tables matches or whatever reason you watch it, they're all valid reasons to watch it. But we all have our different reasons of watching it. I always said pro wrestling, when done perfectly in my mind, is the marriage of sports and soap opera. It is great performances mixed with a great story. Now, I can enjoy just a great match. I can. And I can enjoy just a great story. But when those two things come together, it is the most beautiful thing in the world, the most beautiful form of art in the world to me. So I love that we do the show. I love that came up with the name All Things Elite was from me. Proclivity of positivity was from me. And those are things that I'm proud of, because, I don't think anybody else has the tone of our show. And I've been told by some of my friends that have tried to listen that our show's too sugary sweet, not negative enough. It's true. It's true. We can be, and when we're mean, it's always, I feel like, done in jest. It is done for fun. We're playing up along with the storyline or what's going on in the show, not ever being just mean. and that's what I'm like. There's enough anger, and there's enough yelling in shows. I mean, you got Jim Cornette. He yells about everything, and JD from New York. They yell about everything.
JD needs to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and they yell about everything. And if that's what you're looking for in the show, hey, there are many options out there for it. And then there's the super intelligent shows. I will use them, keeping it strong style with Young Boy, Josh, and Jeremy. They record and cover the show with a professional hand that shit. If I was New Japan, I would just call them my official podcast because that's how good they are. That's how knowledgeable the Young Boy is. That is how Jeremy, that's how professional he is on it. And they just love New Japan Wrestling, and that comes through, but they definitely have a more professional tone in it. And then you have One Nation Radio, which is more of the hodgepodge. And, anytime I'm down, like every airport, every time I'm on a plane, it's Rich and James. That's who gets me through my flight. I download their episodes and I listen through their shows, and they crack me up the whole time. They don't necessarily like everything I like. We watch wrestling, honestly, for the most part, for different reasons. And there's nothing wrong with that, because to me, the best type of podcasts give me a point of view different than my own. I don't want to just hear me talking back to me. I already know what I think. I already know what I think. So, no, I could literally put over every show on Social Suplex and the different podcasts out there. I don't listen to podcasts as much as I used to because I work from home and I don't have that 1 hour commute to work anymore. But yeah, it's been fun. I say this before, and I know I'll get into the emotions too much a lot of the times, but I mean, this show, I enjoyed doing it. I did, but it reached another level where it's the thing I look forward to every week once you took over. And I think you, like I said, you control me, which I need that. I can go off on fucking 6 hour tangents and I get it. So you could jump in there and you're like, oh, okay, let's move on. And I need that. And of course you have the professional sound of voice. When I go a little too far, you bring me back. And then when you go a little too far, I'm like, hey, let's bring you back. And
oh, sure.
And I think there's a restrictor plate, and I think we complement each other well. And I am very much the emotional side of everything, of wrestling and everything. So sometimes you can be like, because you very much have the more professional voice that you bring out. The only time we go off is where we get lost is when we're talking about CM Punk and FTR and
which I can't help. That's what people got to deal with, honestly, at this point. Once they put CM FTR as a legit faction, I'm like, okay, y'all are done. You're gonna realize when that comes up, all objectivity goes out the window,
dude. And then they gave us our own show.
That's what I'm saying.
I know there's going to be a lot of other people featured. Andrade's been featured a lot, and it looks like Luchasaurus is going to be featured on Collision. Hey, I can go on all day, but good Lord.
It's pretty much the only place you can see the House of Black.
Yeah, the House of Black is there, but the stars of the show are CMFTR, and it's like, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, well, it's, again, so great to be up to episode 200. I think I came in around the 50s or the 60s in terms of the episodes. And when Floyd came to me just to be like, hey, man, I need somebody to kind of run the show because I can talk, but I can't host a show. I got to be the guy that bounces off of somebody. And he's like, look, and this was during the pandemic too. I just came out of college and I was so shell shocked as I just graduated. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do right now? I have got no outlet to be able to do what I love, which is broadcasting, talking about sports, talking about entertainment, talking about wrestling, talking about the things that I love. My podcast that I had done with my good buddy Chad, he had moved away. It had been hard for us to be able to link up to do podcasts, and it just wasn't working out schedule-wise. And then Floyd came to me and was like, we're only talking about AEW. I'm like, sweet, I don't have to talk about every single episode of Raw and SmackDown or every NXT thing, and I can just limit myself to AEW. Perfect. It's my preferred wrestling company anyway. And I thought, once pandemic got out of the way and all that kind of stuff, and I thought I'd be kind of slotted in there, and then maybe Tiffany would get back to a normal schedule with you, and you were cool with just me running with the reins with it from that point onward. Appreciate you with that, man. Seriously. And the show has definitely brought us closer because when we first met, Sydney was significantly closer to you as a friend than I was. And that's just because, like, when it comes to meeting wrestling friends, it takes me a while for me to really let you in my circle because I'm very tight-knit with that kind of thing. I don't open myself up that much to, like, letting people, like, fully in like that. And once we kept doing the show more and more, we kept learning more about each other just wrestling-wise, and then just got more in just enjoying. It was the way we hung out. Like, it was like you and JR talk through Twitter. That's how you guys hang out and stuff like that during wrestling shows. We talk and hang out through this podcast. So it's the whole thing's been an amazing ride, and it's just been a ton of fun. And being able to talk about this week in AEW for episode 200, the stars could not have aligned more perfectly, honestly, I feel like.
Absolutely. I was like, because, we've had to skip weeks and we've had this. So it's like, I think this was originally supposed to be like right before the Forbidden Door. Like the week of Forbidden Door was supposed to be episode 200, but because we've had to miss, got sick, different things have happened, it pushed it back a few weeks. And because of what happened on Saturday on Collision, between both of our guys, it made it a pretty big episode to really discuss. And I was like, it felt like, Tiffany always saying when stuff's meant to be, and it felt like this is when the 200 episode was meant to be. Even weirder, this was supposed to be yesterday. This was supposed to be last night, and like I basically came into work and had a second Monday. I was so frustrated that I literally like slammed down my keyboard because it just like the phone and everything wouldn't stop being ringing. It wouldn't stop being busy. So I couldn't get a break. And I was like, dude, it was like a few hours before and I was so busy. I hadn't even got to make a note. I hadn't been able to do anything. I was like, dude, I'm not going to be able to do the show tonight. I just had to call it. So, Austin, being his flexible nature, is like, yeah, we can do it tomorrow. So then we got a fucking banger of a Dynamite. We got the feud, which I'll have some hot takes on. We had Blood and Guts, and and we got it was literally the debut of Kota Ibushi. So episode 200 is going to be doing the debut of the Golden Elite and Kota Ibushi. So. Yeah, I think this is the perfect episode to drive 200. I was working on a montage of things from the first 200 episodes that I wanted to play on this episode. I am not an expert in sound and editing, and I've been working on this for a few weeks. I don't like it. And if I don't like it, and that's what it comes down to. If I don't like it, and I don't like it, I'm not playing it. So I'm going to work on it for another week. I'm going to let Austin, who is actually good at this stuff, listen to it and play around with it. And then when it's time, we're just going to post it as it's not even going to be an episode. It's just going to kind of be a best of. So it'll be like 15, 20 minute kind of best of.
Yeah, we'll do like a little intro of it and stuff like that, and then we'll lead into that.
Yeah, so, yeah, but I'm very critical of myself. So if I don't like something, you will never hear it. You will flat out never hear it. I used to do a podcast called Around the Ring. I love that podcast, but we talked about everything in wrestling. And honestly, what happened is I just got tired of covering WWE. I really did.
There it is.
As much as I love WWE, trying to break down 7 hours of wrestling every weekend and week, and a lot of episodes are just there and expecting to have original thoughts. It got exhausting to me. I just didn't enjoy it enough to do that. So when All Things Elite came along, very much, this was my calling. This is what I was supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to be doing this show. And yeah, 200 episodes in, I've never got bored with the show. Never got bored with the show. And when I found Austin, I was like, this is the show. And if y'all even know, we don't really have a lot of special guests. We have JR on and all that kind of stuff. Not because no one's good. So Suplex, amazing roster of intelligent wrestling people, but I just like Austin, it's Floyd and Austin, One Nation Radio. is Rich and James. Keeping the strong style is Jeremy and Josh. And all things elite is Austin and Floyd. That's what we do. So, unless something special comes along, it's gonna be pretty much us riding going forward. But yeah, I'm excited to get it out because we went through a lot of hosts. Shit, I think Sydney might have been a host.
I think maybe for an episode,
I think Sydney might have been a host. It was very hard for me to get someone like down and committed and get someone to work every week. I shout out to JR. Anytime Austin can record, he's like, and he really doesn't. He's kind of the honorary third member of All Things Elite.
He is really.
Yeah, because anytime Austin can't record, he doesn't podcast anymore. He just got tired of it. But he will get on and talk with me because, just so we can get an episode out. And then, of course, it's my other people. Like, we got to shout out Jackie. Gotta shout out my girl
absolutely.
Jackie. Gotta shout out my Georgia Jackie. I need to get her on an episode of All Things Elite. I do. Well, we need to have her on the show once. We'll have to coordinate that time. We do record at a weird fucking time. So so trying to get a third person on is a little difficult. But yeah, I wanted to get a shout out. And then Young Boy and Jeremy. Young Boy, this was his idea. He picked Jordan, who was our original guest, who is now a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
So Jordan's a professional wrestler. He picked me and Jordan to do the show. Jordan decided to get into training to be a professional wrestler, which he has been. He's went all over the United States. Professional wrestling has a big match with EC3 coming up. So yeah,
kick his ass.
Yeah, Jordan went from he was probably about 150 pounds to I think he's like 235 pounds, just 235, 240 pounds, solid muscle. When that dude put his mind to something, you cannot stop him. He became this fitness genius, and now he looks like a monster. I honestly think at this point we're probably only about 10 or 15 pounds apart because I've lost weight and he's gained weight. Gained muscle, so that's him, and then Issa was on the early. Issa Marie was on every episode, and then shout out to Tiffany.
Absolutely, yeah, all of those folks. But then I will close off our shout outs though. We got to give a shout out to our boy Rich Latta, who, if you listened, of course, to the episode, the theme that we've been talking about for months that Latta made us. Oh my God. Did I tell you? Did we tell you that this shit was worth the wait?
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for doing that. It's us. It's us. Our original theme was, done by Rich. Don't get it. It was done by Rich. It was kind of play on the BTE kind of thing. And it was very much ATE. But this new one is us. It is me and Austin. It represents us. It represents what the show is. It is amazing. Dude, his information will be in a link in the show for eternity. As long as we're doing the show, his link will be in the show. Go to the link. Get him to record you something for your podcast that needs. Dudes, he's talented. He's all over. He's all over a Fight Forever. It's like the history of AEW doesn't happen without Rich Latta as a part of it. So I want to this show. It was like, hey, I need a thing. Boom, day of out.
Yup.
And then this one, boom, day of out. This show, the when you first, the first kind of representation of what the show is your intro. That's Rich, and it's always been Rich. And thank you, Rich, for doing that. And yeah, I literally I've got it up in a private YouTube so I could send it to Cash and Dax so they can listen to it, just so they can listen to the intro because it's a much them too. It's much FTR, the CMFTR thing. But again, I thank you all for putting up with my thank yous and all that stuff. So we can actually talk about some wrestling now.
Yes, we can. Yes, we got a lot to get into. Before we get into everything, like we do every episode, I want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. You listen to us on Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to us. Give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And also be sure to leave a rating and a review. It does help out the show a ton. And you can follow us on Twitter at ATLEpod. Also, follow Social Suplex, who have been with this podcast for the 200 episodes that we've been putting out. And they have so many other great podcasts you should be checking out. We've already mentioned some of them off at the top of this show. So go check out Social Suplex and give them a follow. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Of course, the news of the week was the fact that this show has hit the 200th episode. We've covered that in full. We're going to go ahead and get into our AEW review. Honestly, only thing I want to touch on with Rampage, because for the most part, it was just kind of a Rampage that was just a Rampage. Only thing I wanted to touch on was, for me, I wanted to touch on the Dark Order segment that they had in their promo that they cut about them talking about basically, you know, Dark Order is kind of getting themselves a little bit more aggression, and also insinuating and continuing to put up the fact of what I have been saying for weeks. And that is the fact that Adam Page is the worst friend of all time. John Silver comes up being like, I'm sick of everybody leaving us. You made Johnny Hungy sad because you said everybody's leaving him. Why would you want to leave John Silver? And he said, Hangman leaving us pissed us off the most. We made him a world champion. He abandoned us. Would a real friend abandon you and you'd be cool with that? And that's exactly the point. Hangman's career is flourishing because of us. And because of us, we've gotten soft. And now, last Friday after we beat the Elite, Dark Order is resurrected. And Evil Uno goes like, we are not wasting time on fake friends anymore. So are you Dark Order or are you not?
I now really realize after 4 years, almost 4 years of covering him and 6 years, 7 years of following his career, why they call him the Hangman. He leaves all his friends hanging.
High and dry. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm not calling you Hangman anymore. I'm calling you fake friend Adam. That's what you are. Fake friend Adam. Because this man, like I said, Hangman and Page, this dude literally goes from being friends with the Elite. He gets all pissy and poor with his tag team falling apart with, like, he was a tag team champion with Kenny Omega, his best friend. He gets pissy and all mad about it and all that kind of stuff and goes on a downward spiral because he couldn't get the job done winning the first ever AEW World Championship, and then ruins a friendship with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, gets a drinking problem. Fans encourage the drinking problem. He gets the Dark Order coming in at the perfect time to really help this man and give him a huge boost of confidence and really have his back. And he just views them as a bounce back, as a side thing, before he goes back to the people that he ruined the friendship with in the first place, trying to mend that fence. But then, unlike a normal person who would, you know, have multiple friend groups that they're cool with and multiple friend groups that they're close with, this man can only have one. Worst friend ever. It's that simple. It's that simple. He wants to go out on Blood and Guts, which we'll get to, and wear purple. You can't wear purple anymore after the shit that you've done to the goddamn Dark Order. What are you doing wearing purple? You got Evil Uno tweeting out, you're wearing our colors? The hell is wrong with you? It's like, don't even try to co-opt. Don't even try to co-opt the Dark Order. You did nothing for them. They did everything for you. That's simple. He's the worst friend ever. That's the only thing I had to mention off of Rampage, honestly, because everything else was just kind of like, it was a missable Rampage for the most part, but it's Rampage, you know? You get some bangers out there sometimes, and most of the time, you get some filler. But it's still solid enough filler, but not filler enough to talk about because we now have like 4 shows for this goddamn weekend at AEW.
My plan was to stop you when you were telling lies, but you didn't tell any lies, so I couldn't stop you.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, that's the deal. You tell me when I'm telling lies. I
Yeah.
tell no lies. And like a recently bald Bobby Fish, you stupid motherfucker, what are you doing making yourself bald? There is no lies.
Yes.
Moving over now to AEW Collision / Battle of the Belt 7. Collision featured just 3 matches. And I am going to promptly turn off my mic because everything I'm going to want to say about this match will have already been said by the good Floyd Johnson Jr. Collision opened with the 2 out of 3 falls AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the champions, FTR, and Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, and Juice Robinson. Like, Floyd, I will cut you off when need be, but go nuts.
So, yeah, it was funny. There was this tweet I shared last Saturday, and some guy posted to Dax that I need 2022 FTR. And Dax is like, dude, hey, we've only had 3 matches on AEW this year. Like, we got you tomorrow, right? And that was the day before the first. Collision, and so they have since in the last 2 weeks. Again, this is becoming some kind of like mantra. Tell me or stop me when they telling lies. He said, I got you. And in the last 2 weeks, FTR, Dax and Cash, and Juice Robinson, and they grew up with in the WWE, early WWE development. They were in there together when he was the flower guy. I forgot, CJ Parker. And then Jay White, who honestly, the New Japan people wrestles a very, very complimentary style to what FTR likes to do. So last week during their eliminator match, they put on a banger. I mean, everybody was like, oh, match of the week, blah, blah, blah. It was a banger. This week, 2 out of 3 falls. I remember sending out a tweet that said, 2 out of 3 falls in Calgary, the home of Bret Hart. Good luck. Because I knew from that moment, and of course I am FTR Express on Twitter. Again, I understand a lot of my things that I say regarding how good FTR is just like the I don't know. Hopefully these people are old enough to get the Charlie Brown teacher references when you're here. Wah, 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 wah. That's what you hear. That's what you hear when you hear from me, because I'm just going to say good shit about FTR. And I'm okay with that. I accept that. That is the burden of just loving a team so much. Eventually, you just say the same shit so many times, people stop listening. Well, Dax, Cash, Juice, and Jay left it where I didn't have to say a word. They went and put on a wrestling match. No run-ins, right? Not a lot, weapons. No DQ rules or anything like that. They went out and put on a wrestling match. When you talk about wrestling being an art, they went out and painted a masterpiece on TV with commercials in between. I think they had 5 or 6 commercial breaks during this match. And
I think so, yeah.
They told the story so well that you didn't notice. And I have to break it up into the 3 falls because I think each fall was a very different match. In the first fall, Juice and Jay were a step ahead of FTR in every way. That was the story they were telling. Juice and Jay understood FTR, had studied FTR, and were a step ahead. Every time there was an exchange or a move change, Juice and Jay came out ahead. Anytime FTR tried to do like one of their known combinations, Jay and Juice were aware of it. Cash was trying to get to the ropes. They were ahead of it. And the final end of the round came when they were going for the Shatter Machine. Jay and Juice got ahead of them. I think Jay popped Cash, I believe, into the Blade Runner, and boom, 1, 2, 3, match is over. I even pointed out to a friend of mine that was watching the match with me. I believe it was JR. I honestly don't remember. 99% of the time, the person I'm talking to on the phone is JR. So let's stay there. So when we were looking at that match, I believe at that point, when he hit the Blade Runner, I was like, the crowd was kind of booing FTR, and I was like, the FTR worked that first round as like the bad guys. I mean, Dax grabbed the ropes in the abdominal stretch. They were doing a lot of the cheating moves to the point where it was like, if you're looking at the story that it was telling, it was that they were out of their comfort zone. They had to start taking shortcuts because Jay and Juice were just ahead of them in every way. Mm-hmm. So you got that first round out of the way. Oh, great. And if that's how it ended, that would be it. Jay and Juice up 1-0. Now, the second round, it was more even. They weren't necessarily the good guys or the baby faces in peril or anything, but you could see them play to the crowd a little bit more. They got a little ahead. They were a little more even. They hit some big moves, and they couldn't keep them down. You couldn't pin Jay. Then at the end of the second round, there's this thing. So if you noticed, Jay and Juice were ready for everything FTR had. So when Juice went to the ropes, they did the leapfrog, and then Cash went down and he went over. And then this is the part where Dax would catch Juice and then go into the Shatter Machine. Well, they understood that's what Juice was waiting on. So Dax hits the ground. Juice has to double jump. Dax then gets up, bam, into the Shatter Machine. 1, 2, 3. FTR finally pins Jay and Juice. And then in the third round, they went straight babyface. They went straight. They're ahead. They got their confidence back. They know they can beat this team. They know they're a step on it. They get the Cash is going crazy, flying around like this dude does. He hits a Frankensteiner, or Hurricane Rana, whichever one you want to call it. When Cash does it, because he fucking loves Scott Steiner, I'm gonna call it the Frankensteiner every time. So he hits that move, and it's a lot more exciting. They get caught up doing the Power and Glory thing, which if you don't know what the Power and Glory thing, it's when they do the superplex and the splash.
That shot was so good. I had to interrupt for that though. That shot was perfect.
Yes. So they got that in, and they're just moving ahead, and then almost an honor to their match with DIY. Because if you remember how the Toronto match ended in 2 out of 3 falls, it was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa getting both of them in submission moves, and they tapped out, right? Yep. So as an homage to that group, they all get into the double sharpshooters, and just like in that match where they're trying to reach for each other, but this time Jay and Juice reach for each other, and they break up the Finn. Well, then Dax gets Juice in the middle of the ring. And if you notice, because, it's all about the physical storytelling with him, he puts on the sharpshooter, and then he lifts Juice's knee up, and he gets as deep as possible. And if you've ever known with this, if you've watched Dax in singles matches or anything, he's never tapped anybody out with the sharpshooter. They always get out. He's tapped out to the sharpshooter, but he never gets anyone out to the sharpshooter. So he finally realizes, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. He lifts Juice's knee up, and then he gets all the way back, and then Juice taps out to the sharpshooter in Calgary, the hometown of Dax and Cash's hero, Bret Hart. They win a 2 out of 3 falls match with a sharpshooter. I'm like, you want to talk about storytelling, you want to talk about the emotional side of professional wrestling, the physical story that they're telling. This story was perfect. This match was perfect. Like I said, I always say you can do stars, you can do smiley faces, you can do whatever, but people rate things. You know, people that watch stuff rate things. And this is definitely my tag match of the year, because I do like to try to keep tag matches and singles matches separately. This was absolutely my tag match of the year. Dave Meltzer, who is just one opinion. I'm not gonna ever, just because he said what I wanted him to say this time doesn't mean he's the end all be all. He just did happen to say that this was the best American television tag team match ever. And if you know, wrestling's been around since the 50s, and this dude's a historian. For him to say that this is the best American tag team match ever, that fucking means something. Like, is it the end all be all? Does that mean it was the greatest match ever? No, but the amount of wrestling that he has watched, and for him to say anything is the best ever, no matter what the qualifiers in, means something. And so I shout out Dax and I shout out Cash. I if you saw any of my tweets, they're the greatest fucking tag team ever. And I was just telling Austin before the show I was going to say this. When it comes to long form tag team story matches, I'm talking over 15 to 20, or I'd say over 15 minutes is where I'm going to set it up. Long form tag team matches, I don't think I've ever seen a better tag team ever than FTR. Now, and that's 15 plus minutes. And I'm just saying that because I wanted you to know that I am putting a thought in it. I'm not just trying to put FTR over. I honestly think in the sprint matches that are less than 15 minutes, I don't think there's anybody ever better than the Young Bucks. I will flat out say it. And when the Young Bucks and FTR are in the ring together, I think it's magic. But 15 minutes are over. Time to tell the story. Time to let the emotion sell. Time to let it go in. I don't think there's a better tag team in the world than FTR.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, it's just what a fucking match that was. And I will also give a big shout out to Bullet Club Gold. These two, like, there was kind of a bit of a concern that they might get lost in the shuffle, even though they are Bullet Club members and all that kind of stuff. Jay White and Juice Robinson have made Collision their show as much as CMFTR has. They have taken every moment on that show and they have ran with it, and they are shining, absolutely shining in Collision. Bullet Club Gold were outstanding in this match too. But yeah, match leaning towards one of my matches of the year. Obviously, the Ospreay Okada match is going to be hard to beat, but this is for tag team match of the year. Oh, this is no question that this is it. Like, this is the bar, straight up. Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho in the tournament finals for the Owen Hart Foundation. Poor bastards, you had to go on after this. I'm so sorry for your loss. And it was fun. It was fun.
Unfortunately, the crowd was emotionally spent. And
they just couldn't, dude. I don't know who could have. They went 58 minutes pretty much. And like they tried to get people back into it a little bit, but like there really wasn't much. Ruby did do a nice little fake nice near fall when she had her threw the can of spray paint to Willow. Aubrey, excuse me. Aubrey then takes it, and then Ruby hits the No Future, nearly gets the pinfall to win after she lost in the finals last year. But in the end, though, Willow pounces on her, then hits the powerbomb, Willow Nightingale wins the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Congratulations to her. Honestly, very fitting that she wins this tournament. Honestly, and yeah, it was a nice cap off to the women. Yeah, I mean that was pretty much the finish to that, and it made plenty sense.
Shout out to Willow, the belt collector.
Yeah, for real.
Second title when she won this year, and shout out to Ruby, because she is going to be. I feel like she's going to be the AEW Women's Champion, and it's gonna have to end in a tournament because since she's showed up, she won the Battle Royal when she first got here, then lost the match. TBS tournament, she was in the finals, then lost the match. First year on in the finals, lost the match. This year's finals on Owen. Ruby doesn't win big matches, right? She just doesn't. Mm-hmm. That's going to be her story when she finally wins the AEW World title.
That's what I'm saying,
and it's going to be a beautiful story. And you can just see the building blocks. She keeps putting people over. When you talk about a story that could turn the women's division, give it that extra boost, it's when Ruby eventually turns face again with her song and her finally winning the tournament and finally getting the job done.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And I love Ruby. Like that promo she cut leading into her semifinal match against Sky Blue was amazing. Like Ruby is so good. She's one of my favorites in AEW. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Once that push really comes and she's able to really turn that story and make that whole thing up there, it's going to be outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. We'll just move right over then to the main event of Collision. Finals of the men's tournament. CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. I don't want to talk about this. Ricky Starks is a cheating son of a bitch.
Dude, so I'm about to watch this match, and I understand. I think, and like the outside wrestling, like person that watches wrestling all the time, I'm like, I think, and I mean this, that Ricky Starks should have won this tournament. I think he needed it, and I didn't think it was anything CM Punk needed as far as his story or anything like that. And that was me watching it. But I also didn't want CM Punk to lose. He's probably one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. So I didn't want CM Punk to lose. So I'm like, I have this dilemma where I don't want Punk to lose. I want Ricky to win, but I don't want Punk to lose. And honestly, after this match, I kind of got both. So, a
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, Ricky doesn't really cheat during the match. He's wrestling the match straight. He gets frustrated. In the end, he rolls up CM Punk. And at the last second, when it looks like Punk's about to kick out, Ricky grabs the ropes and gets the pin. And when he goes back to grab the trophy, he's supposed to be getting the trophy presented by Japanese legend Jushin Thunder Liger. He just runs. He just grabs the trophy and runs off because he just got away with something. And it's so funny because CM Punk is like, he doesn't know what happened. He's looking around. Perfect selling by this man. He is selling that he is genuinely confused as
that's what I'm saying, dude. The image of him was just like, what in the goddamn hell just happened? Like again, this dude, he just knows how to play the part so well.
Like, what happened? I know I could have kicked out of that, but something, extra held me down. It was just, I thought, like, I'm not even just like it was just like, again, there's wrestling. And then there's the soap opera of wrestling, right? The match was good. But his sell, Ricky's sell of winning, Punk's sell of losing and looking utterly distraught, and it was the smoothest heel turn ever. Smoothest. Because he didn't, like, a lot of heel turns are super over the top. Like, oh, yeah, stab him in the back, and you see him give him the nut shot, and he stares at him as it goes down. No. Ricky was fucking fed up with losing. He was just tired of losing. And he was tired of getting close. And he was tired of hearing, wait your turn. He was tired of hearing how he was up and coming. He wanted to be now, and he wasn't willing to wait anymore. So he took it. He had the opportunity in front of him. And it's like, if he sold the story that he didn't even decide he wasn't going to cheat until in that moment, I would buy it, because that is how the emotion of the match played itself out. Because he had been wrestling straight up until that point. Such a beautiful thing. Like I said, both sides. I'm like, the wrestling match was a wrestling match. I didn't think it was particularly good. Again, I think they left. I think they particularly left a little bit on the table. I feel like they left a lot on the table. I feel like when they have their long form match, it's going to be amazing. But this was about the story that they were telling, about the transformation of Ricky Starks, and I think they told that story perfectly.
Yeah, honestly. In terms of, people were thinking maybe CM Punk turned heel here, and I personally feel like the only time heel CM Punk, when a full legit CM Punk heel turn happens, has to be against the Elite in order for it to really just fucking kick in like the way that it needs to. But also, I just wanted to comment on one slight other thing too, which was the Calgary crowd. Not necessarily as pro CM Punk as Regina, as we were noticed. There was a lot more boos than there were in Regina. But my favorite, honestly, was this one guy who wanted to bring like 3 different signs for this match. And there was like crying man-child Phil, which was the one that went viral a little bit, and he was laughing about because it was just like straight up in his face. Which, there you go, bravo to you, I guess. And then my other favorite, honestly, though, was the one that he had a sign that just said straight up, "We want the Elite." Well, then, dumbass, you came to the wrong show.
Yes.
Why are you at Collision? You know how this works. Because when this man showed up on Dynamite, Punk is the only one who's shown up on both shows since this whole thing has gone down. And who wasn't at Dynamite when he showed up? The Elite. So, motherfucker, if you wanted to see the Elite, you don't come to Collision.
Yeah,
is how this deal works.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty straightforward about that. This is not like a secret code that you have to know. I'm like, on every poster of Collision, there are 3 men definitely not on there anytime, and they are the Young Bucks and CM.
This is like if I went to a New Japan show and brought a sign that says "I want Roman." Like, yes. I'm an idiot.
Yes. Like, I'm sitting here looking at AEWTix.com, and it's like, it's clear. Collision has FTR, CM Punk, Orange Cassidy, blah, blah, blah. No Kenny Omega, no Young Bucks. Then you look at the Dynamite episode, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks right there. No CM Punk. Hey, FTR's on there, though. FTR's on both posters. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they showed up tonight, and we'll get into that when we get into that. I mean, honestly, you're the tag team champions. I don't think as the tag team champions you can be a one-show team. No, absolutely.
There's only one set of tag belts. I mean, you have the international title and you have the TNT title. Those can both be on different shows. You have the TBS title, and then you have the women's championship. Those could be on separate shows. CM Punk has his world title in the bag. MJF has his world title. Technically, they could be on separate shows. There's only one set of tag belts. There's it. So there's only one set of trios belts. But even though House of Black said the trios belts are going to be exclusive to Collision, or the House of Black is going to be exclusive to Collision. So as long as they're the champs, it's going to be exclusive to Collision. And it's just like, hey, it is what it is. It's like, is this a hard split? No, but they are letting you know. Everybody's letting you know what show they're going to be at. So if you show up at Dynamite and expect to see FTR, honestly, you're probably not. There's a good chance you won't see them. But Saturday nights is all right for a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But man, that dude was that fat dude was so mad. Dude, he was so mad. He was so mad.
My sign of the week, and I think I saw it late, it might have been from Regina, is that Chicago didn't deserve their number 1 draft pick guy.
Yeah, they didn't deserve Connor Bedard. Yeah, which is still true.
That was a fucking epic sign, because if you want CM Punk to pay attention to your sign,
hockey.
Talk about hockey.
That's all you got to do, dude. It's like you do hockey references or something like that. He will be like, "Oh," and just come right over to you.
Dude loves hockey like me and Austin love football. Like, like that's the easiest way to get this show off track is you just bring up football. They're like, "Oh, fantasy football." Yeah, we got 15 minutes of just mostly things that make no sense to you.
But we'll then move over then to Battle of the Belts. Kind of just want to do a little bit of a rapid fire because Battle of the Belts itself was fine. No champions changed hands, which was
oh my god!
Expected.
So a Battle of the Belts. One of these Battle of the Belts, a title needs to change hands.
Yeah, that's the deal. If you're doing a show called Battle of the Belts, a title needs to change hands.
And I really thought it was going to be Archer.
This was the first. Was this the first Battle of the Belts where no titles changed hands?
I believe so. And dude, I so thought Archer was going to win. I just thought it was written. OC had been, building up the injuries, and it's like, oh, now you got to face this monster. And I thought it was it. You had Jake on the outside, and Jake teased me. I know it won't look anything like it did in the 80s, but there's DDTs and then there's a Jake DDT. So he teased me in the match with the 80s, the DDT. And then something that doesn't happen very much in the AEW at all, so I thought it was significant to mention, in continuing with his storyline that he will keep his title by any means, Orange Cassidy beat Lance Archer by count out.
Yeah.
That was pretty epic. I thought it was just done well. Again, like great matches are great matches, and I love them, and I will sit there and mark out about them or do go crazy over great matches. Don't get me wrong, I will go nuts over a great match. But sometimes the storytelling tells everything. And Lance Archer being pissed and Orange Cassidy knowing that he got through on the skin of his teeth, and you could tell that this isn't over. And I ate this up. Good old count out victory. And because they don't do them too often, it was very much unexpected.
And I will also let you know too, shockingly, honestly, I did not realize that this was that this had been the case. My memory is not too great. Out of the 7 Battle of the Belts, only 2 have featured a new champion being crowned. On the first one, you had Sammy Guevara becoming the interim TNT champion, beating Dustin Rhodes. And then on Battle of the Belts 2, you had Sammy Guevara beating Scorpio Sky for the AEW TNT championship, which was when Scorpio was still champion. Those are the only 2 Battle of the Belts that featured a title changing hands.
Looks like Sammy Guevara is Mr. Battle of the Belts.
I guess so, because he's the only person to win a title on that show called Battle of the Belts. The rest is all featured retains, including your boys FTR retaining over Gates of Agony.
Yeah. I remember that Gates of Agony match because it was like FTR had this string of just amazing matches, and it was the most just a match I'd seen in a very long time from FTR. And
it barely eclipsed 13 minutes. So.
Yeah, it was just a match. Like I
also, said. Also, too, I will say, too, about this Battle of the Belts, there was technical issues because of a storm that hit Calgary, which I believe caused people to miss the final moments of the women's match.
Yes, I missed the final moments of the women's match. Shout out to my boy Steven O'Freddy. He was in town for all of this, so he got to be in. He was sitting in live, I think like fourth row, for the FTR match. So he got to be there for it. So and so I messaged him and he told me who won, and I was just like, oh, cool. I gotta say, this is funny. Taya Valkyrie, this has to be a story. This lady is magic. She has gotten more title shots. She's literally got, I think, 2 TBS and a world title shot in the time that she's been in AEW. She is Mrs. Take a successful defense. You're like, when you see Taya's up there, you know the person's going to successfully defend their title. So
yeah, I guess so. It seems that way.
She's good for a good match. I think she puts on good matches. I know there is a contingent out there that thinks she stinks. And they're not a fan. I am actually very much a big fan of Taya Valkyrie. I've always liked her whole gimmick in the show and all that stuff. And so I think at this point in time, it's time to... I mean, I think she's lost enough. I'm not saying put a title on her or anything, but she does need to go a while without losing for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think we're getting to a point where they're going to really find the niche for Taya Valkyrie, and I think it's going to really work out for her.
Yeah, she's really good at the sports entertainment side of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought she was going to be. She, a lot of the backstage segments in Impact and WWE, I think that's where her strong suit is. So I think they could get some people around her, and she doesn't necessarily have to be in title feuds. Do some feuds outside of the championship with her.
Yeah, no, there's so many options for her, though. We will then move over, though, from AEW Battle of the Belts to Dynamite, which just aired a couple hours ago when we are recording this. We opened up with the FTW title match, Hook versus Jack Perry, who comes out to, you hear Tarzan Boy, goes dark, and then he comes out to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which, Floyd, thoughts on this music choice?
It was super heel. It was. And yeah, like Jungle Boy. When the bell starts, amazing. They're doing everything they can. And with some people, you just got to keep trying shit until something sticks. So they've done everything they can to try to make him like a big deal and a heel, and burying Jungle Boy in the dirt, leaving it back, coming out as Jack Perry, beautiful. I don't know what's missing.
I heard, the thing that someone did on Twitter, which I thought was honestly kind of funny, was that they should have made Jack Perry's entrance theme the 90210 theme.
Oh, wow. I think honestly, I like people around my age, I think that would make him a face.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, we fucking loved 90210. I mean, dude, it was like I think your High School Musical age. Was High School Musical a big thing for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Okay, so, yeah, I remember High School Musical being a big thing. Basically, imagine if High School Musical was on every week. That's what 90210 was when I was in middle school.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like you had to know what was going on. You know, I was into wrestling and sports and shit, but you still needed to know what was going on. And when I was in middle school with that, and I'm like, I know that shows how old I am, but whatever. Hey, it beats the alternative. I'll tell anybody, getting older beats the alternative.
It was just crazy to me with that because slightly off topic for like the smallest moment right there, because the first movie came out in 2006 on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And I was just about to turn, I think, 10 years old or something like that. So I was still in elementary school.
Yeah. I was like 11 or 12 at the height of 90210.
Yeah. But that was the thing, though, is that the High School Musical movies, to me, felt like they were years apart. Like I was like one in elementary school, one when I was in middle school, and then one when I was actually in high school. But it was literally every single year for 3 years there was a High School Musical movie. And I was like, what the fuck?
You just age a lot between, like, people don't understand how much you age between like 10 and 13, going from a tween, I guess, to a teen. You age a lot there. It's like you leave a lot of stuff behind. You develop a lot of new things. You might have came in like, hey, man, I really love Ashley Tisdale, to like, yeah, I really love Ashley Tisdale. You know, your whole voice. You know what I mean? This
guy knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like, I mean, you start aging up at that point in time. It's like you start seeing things a little differently, you know? So
sure.
So I could definitely see why that would seem like it was more spread out for you because of that. So, but like, I just remember, I'm older, so I remember like I've never watched a High School Musical, but I remember that's all people talked about. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
it was absolutely. It was that was the thing.
Like-
Those movies were more so a time capsule and a movement than it was like an actual Disney Channel original.
Yeah.
Because you fucking fight me. There's better Disney Channel original movies anyway. So like, I don't even want to get into that because then I'm going to start a fight because people are so passionate about those old school Disney Channel original movies. But,
you know what's so funny? I was old, but I watched like every episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Dude, for real, that was one of my favorites. And I'm about to age. I remember the crossovers where they crossed over like That's So Raven with Sweet Life with Hannah Montana.
Yes,
like that. There was history.
I'm about to age the shit out of myself, dude. The mom on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yep, there it is.
That was dude. I'd watch every episode for her. Then she ended up being on Supernatural. So later on, yes. Yeah, so I'm a fan.
No, and then what you went through with them, I went through most recently with the woman who plays I believe Rebecca from Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. We're not going to lay on this anymore. We need to get.
That's Hannah Waddington, right? Waddingham. Yes. Yeah. Big fan.
What a woman.
Big fan. Quality work right there.
Okay. So Jungle Boy Jack Perry comes out to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And match itself was solid, I will say. Like I said, bell to bell, once Jack Perry gets in the ring, he's great. Him winning the FTW championship from Shenanigans, first of all, it gives Hook finally a little bit more of he's got some things to overcome now. It's his first match he's lost, which
he really had to sell, and he did, I thought he did a really good job, and I thought you got to see a different side of Hook. I thought this match I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was strong. I thought it was strong, because I thought they went out there and you could feel
the heat of Jungle Boy starting to kind of come into fruition because he'd taken something that people had like people see the FTW championship now, they see Hook. Yeah. And the fact that Jungle Boy has taken it from him through Shenanigans, I think there's a real opportunity for Jungle Boy to get some legitimate, straight up heat in this feud.
So,
because in his whole running away shit wasn't working.
Yeah. And then the second time in a few months, Jade, her Shop AEW figure with her belt released on, I believe, Saturday, and then the next day she lost her title, and that was her first match. Hook's figure went up for pre-sale today with the FTW title, and he lost his first match and his title today. So it's kind of funny because somebody's like,
Jazzwares, you got to spread this shit out.
And people are like, why do they keep doing that? I was like, it's been twice. It's literally twice.
Twice is just is pattern.
Yeah, twice in 4 years this has happened. You're like, why do they keep doing this? Just two times.
Just 2 times.
Calm the fuck down. Calm down. Just twice, man.
No, exactly. And also, once again, can we please give a thumbs up to Taz, who sells this so well, how frustrated he was after he lost. And he's like, I literally don't even want to be on camera right now. I'm just, he's about to throw his sunglasses. Taz getting this pissed off and selling about how mad he is about this just adds to shit. Seriously.
He almost beat up the Shark.
That's what I'm saying.
The Shark Week Shark.
Which also, where the fuck was Shark Boy? Where the fuck was Shark Boy? I was told Shark Boy was backstage.
He was backstage. He was on the thing with Colt Cabana where they do this show. The Sharky and the Shark Boy was there, but he wasn't on screen. I was hoping he made an appearance.
I thought they were going to take off the Sharky mask and it was going to be Shark Boy.
Yes. I
was going to pop so hard for that.
Yeah, and that's the fishing line because Shark Boy said so. That is one of, let me tell you, one of the cheesiest gimmicks that I absolutely loved was Shark Boy, and when he
That
was
and Black Machismo.
when he was basically Stone Cold Steve Austin as a shark. And yeah, it was one of my favorites.
Yeah, straight up. We move over though to the amazing, outstanding continuation of the segments with Adam Cole and MJF. Today they went to the Kowloon restaurant, which honestly, the only reason I know what the Kowloon restaurant is from John Cena's old 5 Questions with the Champ YouTube internet series. He mentioned that, and that's the only reason I remember that place at all. Like, straight up. It's the weirdest thing in the world. They get spicy food and burn their mouths off, but they continue to just, really, bond together. And then that's when they're really pushing the double clothesline. They actually almost go and double clothesline their waiter, it looked like, at one point. And then when they come back and they're doing the interview with Renee Paquette, they're like, we caught lightning in a bottle with the two of us, and the plan tonight, hit that double clothesline. And they had gifts for each other, which was matching trunks, matching jackets. And it was amazing. And they walk away, and generic white guy Roderick Strong comes in Adam. And he's just so depressing. Poor bastard. Can't even get a word in.
With his neck
I would
brace,
say Adam Cole is the worst friend ever, but Roddy's just jealous. It's just what it is.
So, this has been amazing. This is sports entertainment. This is good sports entertainment.
Oh, my God. Well, and again, we're going to get into more of it, too.
This is absolute good sports entertainment. And if they were in another company, I'd be like, okay, they're about to be the tag team champions. In this company, I don't know. And that's what frightens me. Because, honestly, they're so hot right now. I can't give you 3 good reasons not to put the titles on them. And
that's what I'm saying, dude. That's the whole thing. Is I'm riding this thing, and I know the thing is gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
Their shirt is still #1 on shop.com.
Yeah, I literally
don't, the loudest reactions.
I never want FTR to lose. Everyone knows that, but I can't give you 3 reasons why you don't put the belts on MJF and Adam Cole right now.
This Saturday is gonna be interesting.
Because, man, the false finishes. Because that's what FTR does. Really well. And MJF loves to tell stories just like they love to tell stories. And the great thing is FTR was in the WWE. So these type of storytelling, funny matches, they do that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no. This match is going to happen in Connecticut, right? Or whatever. I don't know. We'll talk about it in a minute.
We'll talk about it, yeah. But then we get into the tag match, the finals of the blind tag team tournament. Adam Cole and MJF versus Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia came out in matching gear. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was nice to see that. But they didn't come out with a mashup of their themes, which they did that for MJF and Adam Cole. And oh my God, MJF was like a kid in a candy store. He's like, it's a mashup, and just fucking hugs him and spins him around. It was hysterical.
He was slapping fans' hands.
I know.
MJF had went full, he's full on face right now, and it's hilarious.
Yep.
He's like, I have a friend.
I know. He's like, it's so great. There's so much fun. And he literally challenges Daniel Garcia to a dance-off. Sammy Guevara, you have no rhythm whatsoever. Danny was literally hitting the 2-step hard. And they're the stupidest, dumbest, what the fuck is going on shit. But oh my God, was it fun. And oh my God, was it silly. Adam Cole just hip thrusting in the air repeatedly, cutting them off like that. This is again, I saw somebody tweet this out with Dynamite. Dynamite is best is when it's just PWG with a TV budget.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I'm like, I can't deny that, honestly. Obviously, Collision's going to be its own separate thing because they're going way more vision, that Saturday Night Wrestling show should be like.
Collision is real wrestling. Real wrestling. Yeah, it is.
Damn straight. But PWG, crazy bullshit, indie-rific nonsense, featuring corny comedy, sports entertainment shit that works.
Yeah.
That's Dynamite right now.
Yeah.
And like, dude, this shit was hysterical. Match, everyone was popping for everything, and when they finally hit the double clothesline, oh my god, explosion. If that didn't finish the match, I think people would have rioted.
Yeah.
And they get the finish, they win, and right before though FTR comes out to face off with them, the ref has MJF's AEW World Title. He like gives it to Adam Cole to hand to MJF. Adam Cole stares at it a little bit, and that's when MJF sees him, and then they just start. He shoves him like, "What the hell you're doing?" And he's like, I understand. I understand. It's no big deal." And as Adam Cole turns around, they keep it on MJF, and his smile just disappears. Like, that's such good camera work shit. Like, I will give straight up right now. Obviously, one of the things that WWE has done outstandingly is the camera work when it comes to the Bloodline storyline. Like, just the camera work and the cinematography of like the shots that they get and the imagery, like, outstanding. Even the Cody not finishing his story shot, great shot for a terrible moment, but a great shot nonetheless. This was such a great shot. The fact that they held on that and they got that was perfect. And then FTR comes out, they face off, and Dax is ready to beat a motherfucker's ass, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I don't know what Saturday is going to present itself with. I don't know what this is going to be like, but oh my god, does this match give you a reason to tune into Collision or what? Like, for real,
dude. Ever since that first week where I said the next week, like the first episode didn't give you a reason to turn into the next week, it was like they just said, "Oh, okay, hold my beer." And ever since then, every week has given you a reason to tune in for the next week. And now you have a reason to tune in Saturday. You get an MJF and Adam Cole who wrestled to a draw the last time they were in the ring together. Last time they were in the ring against each other. Now are going against the greatest tag team in the world, FTR. And, again, I don't know. FTR could be the new opening match of Collision. And why? Because you can just say, hey, go out there and go. Hey, when the crowd's not into it, we'll call you and tell you to wrap it up. An hour later, the match is still going because that's what they do. But no, I'm about as excited for this tag match as anything because, when you talk about it again, FTR went through developmental. Adam Cole was in NXT for a long time. MJF already wrestles that style. He is more of a pro wrestling type wrestler anyway. So when you talk about chemistry, when you talk about people that are going to naturally work well together, FTR, MJF, Adam Cole, they're going to put on an amazing match. And there's going to be a story aspect to it. And you're going to be waiting. Are they going to be better than FTR? Or are they going to pull the trigger with Max as a double champ? Are they, which is very WWE,
yes.
Very WWE. They get like Adam Cole and MJF. If this was WWE, I would 110% say Adam Cole and MJF's winning. But this is AEW. They tend to respect their tag team division a little bit more. Mm-hmm. We're going to see what's going to happen.
As we will. Then, that's when we move over to Blood and Guts, the main event. The Golden Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, the Young Bucks, and the debuting on AEW for the first time ever, Kota Ibushi versus Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, Konosuke Takeshita, and the Bastard Pack. And a big through line in this match was how the Bastard was very much just kind of there beating up Kenny Omega and the Bucks and the Elites. Was not necessarily cool with the BCC in its entirety, especially not Claudio. And that was a through line through this match. There was so much shit in this goddamn match. And a lot of it was insane fun. The spot that killed me was the moment where Matt Jackson poured tacks from the goddamn top of the cage, like through the ceiling, and then they get backdropped onto the tacks, like Pac and Claudio. absolutely insane. The thumbtack shoe came back. It was an Air Force One, I believe, this time actually. When Kota Ibushi came in, like he was kicking the hell out of people too. An outstanding return. Moxley, when he got into the match, literally came out the gate with a fork stabbing people, which, like I said, that was near the level of Detroit's Blood and Guts match, where fucking Eddie Kingston comes in with a kendo stick and is literally just like, I hit you, I hit you, I hit you. I'm smacking everybody until I get over to goddamn Claudio. Like, that was outstanding. The amount of blood gushing from Moxley, like, I love how he just started bleeding in picture, and that's when stuff started going. And the match ended up finishing once Pac getting pissed off at Claudio walks out on them, which someone actually tied in the fact that this is like after, remember when Moxley walked out on them in a tag match in 2019, like in the first few weeks of Dynamite, Pac got walked out on by Moxley, and now Pac walked out on Moxley and all of his friends. And it was a cool little tie-in that I saw. But then once he walked out, they proceeded to handcuff John Moxley to the ring ropes and then choke Yuta to death with a chain until eventually Moxley has to call the match off and submit and say no more and call the match. And that's how it finished. One other spot I forgot to mention, the swinging stomp through the table by Pac off of the top of the cell. What the hell? Just insane spot. And yeah, once again, like I joke about this, but like baby faces, I don't see the Elite as being baby faces. They're literally like about to murder Yuta, like murder. And I get it. They're going up against the BCC. You know, they deal with pain like that all the time. But I don't know. Like, obviously, this feud needed to end with blood and guts because this is the type of match that ends a feud like this. But then even afterwards, like, they go off the air and then they just shake hands. And this is how the feud ends. And I'm personally, with a feud that's this bloody after, like, I get it. Konosuke and Don Callis ran off. That's who the Elite have the problem with right now with Don Callis and all that kind of stuff. That's where things are going to kind of move off of. And after they got left high and dry, they kind of gave a little bit more respect to the BCC. But I don't know. After how long and crazy this feud has been, ending it with a handshake, even if it is off the air, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. That's my sort of thing. I think Floyd will go a little bit more in depth about this because he has some hot takes about this match. So I will pass it off to Floyd.
Let me first focus on the match. I thought the match was amazing. I thought the match was bloody. I thought it was some of the best wrestlers, the AEW has to offer, doing what they do best. So I want to get that out the way because I thought the match was great. I mean, I don't think it was like a top 5 match of the year, but if you're doing like a top 10 list match of the year, I think it could be 9 or 10, right? I just thought it was really well done, super extra violent. When everybody came in and got their heat when they first came in, that was really good. Kota Ibushi coming out. Kota Ibushi looks like he's taking a little time off. That's as far as I'm gonna go with it because Kota Ibushi's one of, like, if I'm listing like my top favorite wrestlers ever, like you could go like to
he's there for me too.
Yeah, he's up there because like
I will say straight up too, honestly too, just my only comment on it. These types of massive multi-man matches, this is not Kota's wheelhouse.
Yeah, this is not what he does. And I remember a match with Cedric Alexander that was just like still one of my favorite matches ever.
For real?
Kota Ibushi put on. So, no shout out. He looked rusty. He looked like he hadn't been in the shit. And, you want to come back. You're going to come back to maybe a one-on-one match with Claudio, or a one-on-one match with Yuta or something like that. You come back to this cluster F of a style, English not necessarily being your first language, a little rusty. It is what it is. Match was still great. I don't think it took away from the match. For me, what took away from the match? Because, I love the soap opera. I mean, we talked about this earlier. What took away from the match is the two bad guys just fucking bouncing, and the good guys having a 5-on-3 advantage and just winning and dominating the other team to the point where they have to quit. Because to me, it doesn't feel like they beat the Blackpool Combat Club. It feels like the Blackpool Combat Club team just abandoned them. You know what I mean? It doesn't like, and
well, it seemed like the two people that like basically aligned with the Blackpool Combat Club who weren't BCC left the BCC high and dry because you beat 3 members of the BCC with 5 of you, and one of them, like, there's supposed to be a 4th member who physically couldn't wrestle either because he was getting his arm, fucking his shoulder completely he's got like a metal stick through his shoulder right now, so he didn't really beat BCC. So how is, like, again, if they capped it off with Anarchy in the Arena, obviously they couldn't because they brought in Takeshita, but it's not like Takeshita was BCC. He was just Don Callis.
Yeah. So
Don Callis throwing himself into it's just kind of made everything messy.
The Golden Elite, the family, they won. I understood that's what it was. I will say this. My hot take is the thing I love most about this match is that it means this feud is over. And I never was into this feud. If you listen to the early episodes at the beginning, it was just like, as much as Bryan Danielson is amazing, I don't think he ever sold me on why this feud was happening. This felt very much like we need something to happen. We need something for Anarchy in Arena. We need something for Blood and Guts. We have these people. We can do it that way. Again, if you ask me, Anarchy in Arena, one of my favorite matches of the year. I had a really good time during that match. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong. This whole feud has been well worked, well wrestled. And if that's what you're into, if your thing is super quality matches, you have no problem with this feud. This is probably your feud of the year. This is all this thing. I think it lacked in the soap opera department, personally. I think it lacked any emotional investment.
Like I said,
I'm already more into the Don Callis family, and we don't even know what it is versus the Elite than I was in the Blackpool Combat.
And that's the thing, dude. Like, the Elite, like I've always said, their storylines with like themselves, like just in their group, like just the storylines within their group are always their best work. Like, I still say like one of their best work was their Revolution 2020 match with Kenny and Hangman versus the Bucks. That was some of their best work because it was within their group and they knew like what to do with each other, and it just felt like there was nothing in the way of that. You throw, like, again, like with the BCC, there's just seems like there's just kind of this, like, something wasn't working. And like with Don Callis, I can at least understand because there's the tie with anything like that, and there's a way more room for this to work out.
You have a 20, I mean, however old Kenny Omega is, you have a 40 fucking year relationship between him and Don Callis.
That's what I'm saying.
That is like, you have already eclipsed the emotion that is just having that storyline. You have eclipsed the emotion that was in the BCC versus the Elite. And that's all I'm like, to me, I will never, about any of these people, I will never disparage them as far as their wrestling ability.
Sure.
Sometimes their storytelling ability is not up to what I want. I feel like I'm going to be more emotionally tied, and we talked about this, than in MJF and Adam Cole. And this story has only been going on for like a month. When one of them turns on each other, we really don't know who it's going to be. I think they've done a really good job of making it where either one can turn on the other. But when it happens, it's going to be like, oh my God, because it's going to be this thing. And because they never really, established, Blackpool Combat Club and Elite as friends to break up. I never got as emotionally got into it like other people would get into it. So
yeah,
and so I'm really looking forward to the Blackpool Combat Club, because with this Pac thing, that looks like that's going to break off. With Don Callis abandoning them, that looks like that something's going to happen with there. I think, and that's it. And then you're going to have the Elite maybe with the Don Callis family. I think Dynamite is about to get more wide open because it's time to you've had these 8 to 10 people stuck together for the last 2 months. Now they can break off and have different feuds. And maybe the Young Bucks go after the tag team titles. Maybe the Young Bucks and Kenny try to go for the trios title. Whatever they try to do, maybe that'll freshen up Dynamite. Because I do feel like, to me, Dynamite, as it's been good in parts, has been kind of stale. And I know probably why. They've been really pushing Collision. So, maybe we can get, with everybody breaking up and we're building towards All In, we can get everybody else. But again, the match finished. It was over. Blood feud. We hate each other. And then after the match, you're shaking hands and saying you respect each other. Trash for me. In my wrestling soap opera world, you're still supposed to be like, after you lose, Kenny Omega's supposed to look at Mox and say, I respect you. And Mox's supposed to give him the middle finger.
Bullet Club Gold didn't shake the hands of FTR after they lost.
Yeah. Mox's supposed to give him the middle finger, spit on the ground, and walk away. But whatever. Again, that's like soap opera world. So sometimes.
And again, all I'll say, and like just closing it out too, like with that is, like I said, I will always respect the Elite. The reason that it made me fell in love with the Elite was the shenanigans that they would do and the storylines they would do within their faction, in their group, because that was always entertaining because it was contained within their YouTube shows and all that kind of stuff, and like whatever they did on the indies, and then just their outstanding work rate and matches and the crazy shit they do. The Elite, when it comes to, well, specifically, I'll take Kenny Omega out of that because Kenny Omega is the enigma. But like outside of that, and like other than like everything else, for the most part, like there's something left to be desired. They aren't there when it's like storytelling wise, that's never been their strong suit. I've known that since I've been fans of them, but especially now that you're having a show on Saturdays, which is very much trying to be kind of an alternative, like not an alternative to Dynamite, which sounds stupid. More so just trying to be like do something that Dynamite isn't doing, and they're doing very well story told matches and stuff like that, and using a lot of like the soap opera levels of wrestling that we love. And it's like, and it hits so much harder because it's AEW doing it as well. It's like, you see Dynamite start doing just some of those things, and I think it's just going to make the show better, especially the Elite.
Again, you free up Jon Moxley, you free up Yuta, you free up Claudio to get into different feuds. Now you free up the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman, to get into different feuds, to go do other shit. And I think that's just going to make the whole show, that's going to make the show as a whole just better, because you can spread them out through the 2 hours instead of them always having to be in the same segment.
Right, absolutely. But that was AEW Dynamite in this past week in AEW. Right now, the stuff that we have announced. Also, I got to say one last thing, too, was the fact that AEW, during the Blood and Guts match, did an ad for the Red Cross. Which was so fucking funny, because it was on the same level as when Nick Gage was on Dynamite using a pizza cutter, and then they cut to like, what was it, like a Domino's ad, I think it was.
Yes.
Same exact level. I was just like, y'all are so wild for doing that.
Yes, that's they get it, and it was funny. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
so,
But yeah, so going into this Friday for Rampage, of course, the Royal Rampage match is back because they've got the 2 rings anyway. So let's do the Royal Rampage. Like I said, it did it in Detroit. Now they'll be doing it in Boston. Also, Boston was one last thing too. I got to say too, Boston is some of the most blood crazy, nutty fans I've ever seen. After the falling tacks from the ceiling, they chanted for tables, and I was like, you just got tacks that fell from the sky and you want tables? And then they chanted, we want fire. And I was just like, y'all gotta calm the fuck down. And it's funny too, because the match started with the crowd chanting, for like the fans on the far side of the arena chanting, use this ring, because they wanted them to be in the closest ring towards them, which was very funny. Like, Boston genuinely was an amazing crowd, but y'all are vicious. the "We Want Fire" chants. I'm like, I'd like them to not die. That'd be cool, you know.
But they wanted fire, sir.
But I don't care. You don't get fire. You know why you don't get fire? Because fuck the Celtics.
Yeah. No, Celtic pride, man. Celtic pride. No, they suck. No,
Exactly.
Only time I ever was happy Boston won is when KG finally got his ring. That was it. I was rooting for KG, not Boston, though.
That's basically it, dude. That's basically it. Also, shout out the Truth, Paul Pierce. Honestly, he's a good dude too. But yeah, fuck him and fuck the Celtics and fuck the Bruins.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at that. So the Royal Rampage will be on Rampage, and then of course on Collision we're going to have the tag team title match between FTR.
No, let me make sure this is clear. The tag team title match is not until the next Saturday in Hartford, Connecticut. I had to Google it because I was talking to Jackie. I was genuinely confused. And I saw the screen grab, and it says it's next Saturday in Hartford, Connecticut. So I don't really know what's happening this week. I don't think they really announced anything for this week.
Yeah, no, they did not yet. So it is not this Saturday. It's the Saturday after that. That's sad. I have to wait 2 weeks now for that. That's sad,
dude. See, because I am a nerd. I am a wrestling nerd. I started looking for flights into Hartford, right?
Oh yeah, it gives you more time to prepare. Absolutely.
No, I didn't. They don't have anything. The ticket prices are fucking stupid. But I was literally like, huh. So I got an extra week. Maybe I can, because Boston's only an hour and a half away from Hartford. So I was like, well, maybe I can just fly into Boston. So yeah, that's the sicko mode I go into sometimes when it comes to wrestling. And then I have to realize that I'm trying to go to the UK in like a little over a month. So I need to calm my ass down. And just.
Yep.
Yeah.
So... Well, then, yeah, so right now, at least, the only thing that we've got officially fully announced is the Royal Rampage. Everything else, they didn't really run off and say anything else about what's coming up, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Royal Rampage should be fun. It was fun last year, so hopefully, again, it'll be fun again. But
as long as it ends with Brody King choking out somebody and hanging them over the top of the off of the ramp, or like the ring, because that's how they ended the last one, and it was so good. Like that spot still lives in my head, rent free, with the Darby being hung over by Brody King off of the ring to be eliminating him. So good.
Yeah, Collision is going to. They're going to announce some stuff for Collision this week, but
I
think you're going to get the. I think you're going to get the face-off between CM Punk and Ricky. Words are going to have to be said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Give me a promo battle because Ricky's already like so good on the stick. Like, I need a promo battle. Just give that to me right now.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, the one last thing I wanted to leave off with before we close this 200th episode of All Things Elite was because I did not watch Collision actually last week live. Because I had something else happen on my Saturday night. And it was the best night of my life. And I haven't talked to Floyd at all about this other than like a couple DMs. But I, on Saturday, was in downtown Detroit at Ford Field to see my boy, to see Ed Sheeran in concert for his Mathematics tour. And oh my God. So this was only my second time seeing this dude live. First time was in like 2017. And this was his first time back in Detroit since 2018. So it had been over 5 years, like nearly 5 years since Ed Sheeran had been back. And since that time period, Ed Sheeran has done like 3 songs with Eminem. And also before this concert, Eminem got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and brought Ed Sheeran out to play Stan for his induction concert, like induction performance. So I was telling everybody who would listen, he's bringing out Eminem. He will bring out Eminem. I know how this ginger operates. I know how this dude works. I am such a mega fan of Ed Sheeran. It's stupid. He is going to bring out Eminem. Because I was like, he is not going to be coming back to the States for years, because this mathematics tour is going to go like all over the fucking country, all over the world. And once he finishes up in North America, he probably won't be coming back for another 5 years, which is going to break my heart and it's going to suck. But you know what? I'll have to just suck it up and deal with it. So as he goes in to start playing a cover of an Eminem song, he starts playing Lose Yourself. And he's building it up, you know. Everybody's joking now. The clocks run out. Time's up. Over. Blah. Snap back. Out walks Eminem. And from that point on, the loudest show I had ever attended was The First Dance, Rampage, CM Punk returning after 7 years. That was the loudest crowd I had ever been in for any show. Until this past Saturday. 60,000 plus nearly caused the arena to, like, the stadium to explode. I couldn't believe how loud it was. Like, I thought my ears were going to just pop and I wouldn't hear anything anymore. Because, like, I was screaming the words to every bar. And like I said, I heard snap back to it. It was a jet engine. Just straight up jet engine from that point on. You could barely hear Eminem. I was in absolute bliss. It is the best concert I've ever seen, period. And we've talked about, like, you know, a little bit of, like, man, coming after a show, like whenever we'd come back from an AEW show or something like that, the come down is pretty hard, you know, the post show or post concert depression. Oh, that hit me hard after this one, dude. I would, like, literally on Monday morning, I was just like, what am I doing? I need to be back at that show. I need to be back in that environment, dude. I can't, like, why can't I be there all the time? I should just be there all the time, like, straight up. And yeah, it was incredible. There are videos of me, like, rapping along to every word, and it's very entertaining. You can follow my Twitter at Austin Sumwoods if you want to see those. They're quite amusing. But yeah, my voice is still honestly struggling for the most part. I've recovered for the most part because it's been almost a week, but still, like, it's not fully there yet. It's just not. It's because I nearly broke my vocal cords from screaming so loud.
Dude, yeah, I saw the videos from you watching and yelling and rapping along, and it warmed my soul. And I don't know, your parents listen to this show, I guess, or not, but that's, to me, my favorite part is that they go with you to these wild and crazy things, and they look at you, and you can tell their enjoyment comes from enjoying watching you enjoy it, and that is so cool, so awesome. I actually got to spend some time with them in Vegas, and they're just amazing people. So
yeah,
so shout out to them, and
for real, yeah,
they going around with you, because guess what, my parents wasn't doing that.
Yeah. Well, listen, they will go to Vegas with us when we'll go to watch wrestling. They won't go watch wrestling. That is where the cutoff point happens. Concerts, they're fine with, as long as it's not like a rapper, like a legit, like, hardcore rapper or something like that, and as long as they at least know who the person is, they will go to the show with us. Yeah. Otherwise, no.
So that is really cool. But did you have anything else?
That was pretty much it. I wanted to close it off on that because I had to get that off my chest, because, like I said, it's been like I've wanted to talk about it forever. And it was, like I said, Floyd literally DM'd me like, "You saw Eminem?" Honestly, like, I don't know if I've actually told you this. I tweeted this out a while ago, but I years ago, like when Eminem was releasing Revival, we won't talk about that album. I know some Eminem fans are salty about it, but Eminem was releasing Revival, and he was doing a media thing through his SiriusXM station, Shade 45. And he was answering questions from media people, but then also some fans could call in and ask a question as well. We had just pulled in actually to go to dinner while this whole thing was happening. And I told my parents, I'm like, I will be in a second. I'm going to try to call Eminem. Y'all can wait for me inside the restaurant. So, like, me and Cindy are in the back of the car, and, like, I'm just, like, kind of messing around. I'm like, I'm going to try this for, like, less than 5 minutes. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to go inside to go eat. And then eventually I get on the line, and I straight up got to talk to Eminem on the phone. And I have audio evidence of him saying my name and saying, "How you doing, man?" and it is the coolest thing. I nearly made my text tone. It was so fucking cool. And I got to ask him a question about the album. He gave a good answer, and the best part too is Eminem fans are hardcore. Anytime this man does anything, they archive it basically on a YouTube channel or on something like that. So I have that thing saved forever. So yeah, it's so freaking cool. Like that popped into my head. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before or not.
You had not mentioned that, and I am even super jealous. Eminem is my favorite rapper of all time. Not, like literally my favorite rapper of all time. I remember just left the house, 18, 19, little, young angst, a little anger, and the channel of my anger, the filter of that anger, a lot of times was listening to Eminem's music. So, I literally, I'm not a rapper, but I know the words to his songs, and I rap along all the time. So that's cool that you got to see him. And if he ever does a concert, it's like, now that I am Mr. I will travel anywhere. If Eminem does a concert anywhere in the continental United States, I will be there, and I will see.
Yeah, well, he has not toured since 2014.
I know.
It's like, besides like his worldwide tours that he does overseas, he has not toured in the States since 2014 when he toured with Eminem. I know that because he ended that tour at Comerica Park, and I didn't get to go to that show because I was in high school and I couldn't afford it. But like, if he does another Detroit like surprise show or something like that, I will let you know, because I guarantee you I will be trying to go to it.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So this week we are going to end our show a little different. I hit up the Social Suplex people and asked them just to record little things about what they think about the show. We got a few of them. So how we're going to end the show is you're going to hear what they have to say, and it's going to be amazing. And I thank everyone who has listened to 1 second, 1 hour, 1 episode, who's been with us since the beginning. I want to give a shout out to all of you. I want to thank you for listening to the show. You are amazing. You are the reason we're just not just speaking into the ether every week. Shout out to Ashley at WWAton on Twitter. She messaged us and she says she listens every week. I want to shout out her, and if this is your first episode, thank you for listening, because a lot of my friends that might tune into the show doesn't even know that I've done 200 episodes of a podcast. So definitely thank you for tuning in. And with that, I will leave you how I always leave you. So after you hear this, you will hear the people saying goodbye. So you want to go ahead and say goodbye to everyone, Austin?
Yeah. Once again, guys, thanks for being with us for 200 episodes. If you have been here for like 200 or just 1 or 15, whatever the hell, we do appreciate you guys. Seriously, we love doing the show. So keep listening, keep sharing, keep subscribing. We really do. It means the world to us. Thanks again, Floyd, for letting me do this. Like bringing me on. It's been a blast. I love doing it still. And yeah, be sure to keep tuned into the episodes, guys. It means the world to us. And yeah, go ahead, Floyd. Take us home.
Yeah, all right. So I will let you know, episode 1000 will be my last episode. Because I realized that it took us 4 years to do 200. So episode 1000 would be like 20 years in. And I think I would be ready to pass it on to somebody 20 years in. Hopefully, AEW's being around then. So episode 1000 will be my last episode. And to that, I will leave you how I always leave you. First of all, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you all have an amazing week. And whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite. And we end with the Social Suplex guys sending us off. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Hey, Floyd and Austin. This is the Podfather of Social Suplex, Jeremy Donovan here. Want to give you guys a big shout out on episode 200. Really appreciate all the work you guys do covering AEW for Social Suplex. It's definitely a must listen every week. And, definitely big shout out to Floyd, who's been manning the ship of all things elite since the very beginning. I know you've had to go through a couple of different hosts until you found, your golden lover in Austin, and you guys are a great team. And again, just love all the work you guys are doing. Looking forward to 200 more episodes of All Things Elite, and looking forward to being on the show again sometime in the future to talk some AEW. So congrats again, guys, and big ups to you guys.
This is Maserati from Grave Consequences Podcast. Just want to say congratulations to Floyd for 200 episodes of All Things Elite, the essential listening if you are a fan of anything related to the Elite, the Bucks, Kenny, FTR, CM Punk. This is the place to go to when you want additional content.
What's up, guys? This is the young boy Joshua Smith of Keeping It Strong Style, and I want to send out my big congratulations to Austin and Floyd of All Things Elite. You guys have been killing the podcast game for such a long time now, and you're one of the main cornerstones of not only the Social Suplex Podcast Network, but the AEW culture and fan base. And we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, everything that you've done, and everything that you're going to continue to do. And I'm looking so forward to all of your insights, all of your takes, your ratings, and your opinions, which are not a game. Even if I don't necessarily love all the same guys you guys love, I love you guys, and I appreciate what you're doing. Congratulations on the big 100. 200. I forgot. The big 200, and, here's the 200 more.
Hey, this is Rich from One Nation Radio sending in a message for All Things Elite celebrating episode 200. Floyd Johnson has been on all 200 episodes or very close to it. The show started one way and then it changed to another and then changed to another, and then it finally landed with yourself and Austin bringing great energy every week. Very happy to have submitted some music for you guys that played throughout the first 200 episodes, and then taking it higher for 200 and beyond. Very proud of you guys for talking about AEW in a unique way, and not running from anything. Any big subject that's come up, you guys have been right there addressing it and the way you feel, and not worrying about what anybody says about it. So that's very commendable, and you guys have grown from just a seed of an idea. I think you guys do a great job, and I definitely look forward to listening to the show every week, and I am very happy that you guys got to 200, and I'm ready to see what the next milestone is. Floyd, Austin, congratulations. And on a personal note, All Things Elite was able to help me be in the position to accomplish a lot of cool things within, my music career, and connecting a lot of dots for me. So thanks, Floyd, for allowing me to come on and make those connections. And you're my brother for life for that one.